We've got some massive free agent updates, including what will the future be for reigning world heavyweight champion Gunther in WWE? Could he be set to leave the company? Could he stay with the company? We have every detail for you right here in this video. We're also going to talk about a major TNA free agent who is set to hit the open market in 2025. All that much more coming up right here in this video. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, let's begin and talk about, again, the reigning, defending WWE World's Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Gunther has been with WWE for nearly the past 6-7 years, and ever since then, he has dominated throughout his run, whether it was in NXT UK, in NXT Main, or on the WWE main roster, becoming the longest reigning intercontinental, I was about to say United States, intercontinental champion of all time. And then, of course, finally this past year, elevating to the ranks of world heavyweight champion, being impressive throughout his entire run. And it had many people wondering, when his contract was up, was he going to make a move? Obviously, companies like AEW and even companies overseas would be begging for a star like Gunther to be coming over there. And a place like AEW, honestly, if you ask me, would have had a shot at getting a guy like Gunther if he hits the free agent market. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen because we have a new report from PW Insider. Gunther is in the final stages of a new WWE deal. He is either at the end of discussions or has just signed a new multi-year deal with the company. This is important on multiple fronts. Number one, if you're WWE, you lock down one of your most important assets as far as talent goes in the entire roster. He is someone you have invested a lot of time, a lot of victories, and a lot of television towards. And he is someone who I think will factor greatly into WWE's plans, not just over the next couple of years, but potentially into the next decade. So Gunther is someone that WWE obviously has always been very high on. Even the Vince McMahon regime was very high on Gunther during his time there. So it is understandable they would want to keep him and also keep him away. And this adds to a trend we have seen with WWE free agents. As I've noted before, WWE, especially under the TKO umbrella, they have a certain level of dominance over the professional wrestling industry just from a business standpoint. It is just true. They are by far the number one company as far as interest, fan level, money, every metric that you could gauge as far as revenue or what have you in a business sense, they are dominant in. And in order to sustain that dominance, you have to kind of keep these talent on your roster. You have to keep, especially talent that you are using and invested a lot of time into. You want to make sure you get that investment back. That's kind of how the business works. Don't blame me. I mean, I ain't no capitalist, but regardless, that's just kind of how this works in a business sense. They want to make sure that they keep Gunther for as long as possible and obviously get as much output as possible from him. But in another sense, this is also a way for them to maintain their market share and make sure that, whether it's AEW or whoever, they're not able to even get a little bit of a glimpse of market share. It's part of a very aggressive strategy that WWE has employed just over the last couple of years. Not to say they weren't aggressive beforehand, but of course, in the last couple of years before the Triple H regime came to power, and especially before TKO, you saw a lot of talent let go from their contracts, had the ability to go to AEW, had the ability to go to TNA, had the ability to go to New Japan, and the company and their popularity suffered because of it. And I think that is a lesson that many people in WWE have learned from the past couple of years, that, the rise in popularity of professional wrestling as a whole was, in part because, the rise in popularity of wrestling outside of WWE, I should say, was in part a consequence of them letting a lot of their top stars go and be free agents and then show up in other companies and have the ability to uplift those companies. And I think that is why you've seen the likes of Damian Priest re-sign with the company with long-term deals. That is why you've seen the likes of Dominic Mysterio, others, Finn Balor, as well as Drew McIntyre stay with the company because the company wants to make sure that these guys are around. And now Gunther added to that list. So interesting stuff there. Of course, we're going to keep you guys posted on everything we hear about the story so far and or into the future. But of course, right now, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. Guys, let me tell you about SeatGeek. It is the best sports ticketing app out there. And today, you are going to be able to save $20 off your next purchase from SeatGeek using the promo code REALTAKE. Here's what you got to do. Go in the link in the description. You click the link in the description, I should say. You download the app. You sign up. And off your first purchase, when you put the promo code REALTAKE at checkout, when you use that promo code REALTAKE, you get $20 off your first purchase. So if you're going to see an AEW show, a WWE show, hell, a TNA show, doesn't matter. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase when you sign up for SeatGeek and use the promo code REALTAKE. It's all you got to do. SeatGeek's great app. It rates your tickets from a scale of 1 to 10 so you know precisely the kind of deal that you are getting. And, of course, today I'm going to make sure that you have an extra $20 in your pocket. All you got to do is use that promo code REALTAKE at checkout. Speaking of checking out, let's check out some interesting news coming out of TNA, as one of TNA's biggest stars over the past couple of years looks to be a free agent very, very soon. I am talking, of course, about Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is set to hit the free agent market in 2025. Speaking on Insight with Chris Van Vliet recently, quote, February 15th, I'll be a free agent. I mean, TNA announced they extended me, picked up a year extension on the 14th last year. So yeah, heading into free agency for the first time, I'm equal parts nervous, equal parts excited. Obviously, there's no one end of the spectrum where you like where you're like nothing might come out of this. You have to be realistic. I have kids, I have a wife, I have a house I pay for and stuff like that. I can just do wrestling because I love it, because that's all I've ever really done. So Josh Alexander announcing that he will be a free agent, or is expected to be a free agent come February 15th, 2025. He also, in that same interview, gave a little bit more insight, pardon the pun, about where he could go. We'll look at that in just a second. But Josh Alexander, for those of you who may not know, one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet. I would put him right up there with the likes of the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. as far as in-ring work from a technical standpoint. I think he is leagues and bounds ahead of many of his peers when it comes to making the sport of professional wrestling feel like a competition. And it even comes through with his aura when he enters a ring, when you see him wearing the wrestling, you know, I don't know what they call them, the damn headwear or whatever. Like it obviously exudes through him. And he is someone who has taken wrestling very seriously throughout his life. That is why he has gotten to where he has. And, you know, there's very few people that make professional wrestling look as visceral and as like, and who give as much, I guess, emotion in their on the mat wrestling than Josh Alexander. He is a technical savant, as I've noted before, and he has been one of TNA's biggest stars, and he could be going to a promotion near you. Here's what he had to say about his future. Quote, I'm looking at everything right now. Both my sons are wrestling nuts, especially my 6-year-old. So Monday is Raw, Tuesday is NXT, Wednesday is Dynamite, Thursday is Impact. I'm watching everything with my kids all week long, which is awesome because I get to share this passion with them. But at the same time, I'm watching the product, looking at NXT being like, man, me and Ethan could tag and we could face that tag team. That'd be awesome. I'd love to have a match with Pete Dunne or Gunther and the list goes on. Then you watch Dynamite, and I'm just like, man, I've torn it up with Will and Konosuke Takeshita in the past. I would sure love to do that on a bigger stage. One bucket list thing I might have, a wrestler I should say, a wrestler that's still out there wrestling that I would love to get a chance to wrestle is Edge. He's in AEW, you know what I mean? And then there's Japan. Shingo Takagi is one of the guys on my bucket list. That is doable. I'm going to make this happen. Him, Tomohiro Ishii, were neck and neck, and I made the Ishii match happen. Shingo is another one. So there you go. He mentioned a couple of names on his bucket list, Shingo Takagi and Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, being right there at the top of things. And there's obviously two frames of mind here. I think at the end of the day, Josh Alexander will do whatever he wants, and like that is the truth of it. He has the power over this decision. But I do think that when you're looking at a guy like Josh Alexander, I think he's going to be successful no matter where he goes. Because he could go in NXT, and I think he could become an NXT champion. There's a story to be told where Josh Alexander is like the babyface heart and soul of NXT, and he could be that spiritual successor to a Sami Zayn, to a Johnny Gargano in that sense. And, you know, once he gets to the main roster, if they play their cards right and they don't book him into oblivion, I think he could be a main event type player there. That's how highly I genuinely think of Josh Alexander as a talent. Whereas in AEW, you know, obviously, he mentioned some of his bucket list matches there. I also think that that's a place that's going to know what to do with Josh Alexander. And when you look at that and you look at, you know, the way the WWE kind of, you know, has handled many of these free agents who are more like wrestling guys, like, let's be honest, there's a divide a little bit. There's like, you know, you got the storyline, and I don't even say storyline because I think both promotions tell stories like fairly well, at least. But you have, like, you know, one company that's known more for the moments and then the visuals and things like that, and then another company that's known for the in-ring product. And I think Josh Alexander, he's obviously more of an in-ring guy, but I think he's also capable of those moments. In the end, I think he'll end up choosing probably AEW. Again, I have no insight into that, pardon the pun again, but I very well could see that being the situation there. But obviously, we will see. Guys, let me know in the comment section, though. What do you guys think about Josh Alexander? Do you think he will end up in WWE, AEW? Does he go somewhere else? Also, let me know what you guys think about Gunther staying with WWE, reportedly. Is it a good decision? Should he have left? Let me know in the comment section. Also, be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and as always, hit that notification bell and keep it real.